Love you.
Have any of you guys ever played with face paint or lipstick? You just put it on for fun? Yeah, so makeup has been used for many different things throughout the years, depending on where they were. They used to use it to protect their skin and to show power or their social status. Throughout the years, it's taken many different forms, and it's changed a lot. First up, we're going to learn about the different styles throughout the years and how it's changed. In Egypt, according to an article called 4,000 Years of Makeup, the Egyptians around 10,000 BCE, they'd all want clear, soft skin, and it was really important to smell good, and they'd all like use coal to get the almond-shaped eyes for eyeliner and stuff. And the Chinese around 3,000 BCE, they'd stain their fingernails different colors depending on their social class, and they'd paint all their faces white, and they'd paint their cheeks red. And the Chinese citizens, they'd shave off their eyebrows and paint their teeth gold. And they'd also stain their fingernails, but with less vibrant colors. In Rome, they'd all cover any blemishes they had, and they'd paint their fingernails, they'd stain their fingernails red. And all the men would dye their hair blonde. In the 1300 England, perfume was really popular because it had just been brought over from the Middle East. And so it was like all the rage at the time, and all the women would dye their hair red, and it was very beautiful to have pale skin. In the Victorian era, according to an article by the Preston Park Museum, it was really like you needed natural skin color, and anything that you put on your face that altered your natural skin color was frowned upon. They also would pluck their eyebrows to where it was really, really thin, and they'd like pinch their cheeks so that it was really rosy, and so you could barely tell that they were even wearing anything. And they also really wanted shiny lips and bright eyes and really clear skin. In the Roaring 20s, 1920s, they would wear bright red lipstick, and they'd shape their lips into a cupid's bow, and they'd rim their eyes with dark black eyeliner, and they'd use really, really bright blush on their cheeks, and they'd paint their nails red. And this is the time when all the actors and the models would like have really like tan skin, and there was like a new trend or whatever, and that's when it started, like to have tan skin was really popular. In the 1950s to the 2000s, they would use very little eyeshadow, and it was matte and all like warm colors. And this is when like the full lashes came in, where everybody wanted long, luscious, dark lashes, and they'd have like the wing/cat eyeliner look, and they'd all have thick eyebrows. And for their lipstick and lip liner, they'd just like follow the natural lip of their natural lip shape. And makeup has been made out of many different things throughout the years. All of them aren't the best. Like, it was really deadly, and sometimes they just die from the stuff they're putting on their face to enhance their appearance. The Egyptians, for their perfumes, they'd use myrrh, thyme, lavender, peppermint, cedar, and rose to smell good, and they'd use a mixture of copper and lead to do the contouring for the snatched look. And they'd use coal, which is burnt almonds, and ash to achieve the almond-shaped eyes. And for the Chinese, they would use gelatin and beeswax and egg whites to stain their fingernails, and they'd use rice powder to whiten their face, and then they'd use henna to dye their hair black. And then the Romans, they'd use a mixture of barley flour and butter to cover any blemishes that they had. And to stain their fingernails red, they'd use sheep fat mixed with sheep blood to stain their fingernails. During the Victorian time, they'd use a mixture of black sulfur and honey, and they'd put it in their hair, and the sun would lighten it. And they'd use zinc oxide as like a facial powder, make themselves lighter. And then they'd use deadly arsenic to get bright eyes and clear skin. And then they'd use belladonna in their eyes to dilate their pupils. And a cheaper version of this, they'd squirt lemon juice in their eyes to make their pupils dilated. And in the 20s, this is when they started putting their lipstick in metal containers, and this made it a lot more popular because then they could like haul it around easier, and it was a lot easier to use. And this is also when they were inventing the powder blushes. And for mascara, they'd use a mixture of coal and gasoline. And eyeliner, they used makeup wasn't always just for beautification, it meant different things, and it was used for different things. In Egypt, they would use it to protect themselves from the sun and from the dry winds, and they would also use it in spiritual rituals. They used it to distinguish the class people, decorate their eyes. And the Chinese, they would use the color of their stained fingernails to show their social status. The royals would wear gold and silver on their nails, and then the citizens would use like very bland, like unvibrant colors. And for during the Victorian era, the Queen said that makeup belonged on the stage and to prostitutes and stuff. But that didn't mean that the women stopped wearing makeup. They just like hide it, and they'd like go into salons through the back door, and like they'd hide all of their makeup in medicine bottles so that nobody knew that they actually wore it. Now their makeup was very subtle, so you couldn't tell. And in the 20s, this is when like all the women were going into the professional world, so they were wearing a lot of makeup to compete with the men for jobs, and they were also trying to prove a point to society. So that's why their makeup was a statement. And in summary, makeup has evolved over the years into what it is today. We have explored how makeup has evolved from ancient times to modern day trends. Makeup has been used for many different things, whether it's coal used by the ancient Egyptians to the red lipstick of the 1920s. Makeup has been more than just a way to look good. It's been used for self-expression and personal empowerment. Good job. That was awesome. Learned a lot of things.